Ladies and gentlemen, the Chief Scout Executive for the Boy Scouts of America, Mr. Bob Mazzuca.
I don't know where you got that picture. What a hoot. What a pleasure. What a thrill it is for me to be here tonight. I look out across this audience and I see a bunch of tired people. And I had an area director one time, way back when I first became a Scout executive. His name was Dick Chandler. Not Jim Chandler. I fired Jim. And he taught me lots of things, but one of the things that he taught me that I've kept with me for the longest time, all of my life as a matter of fact, that no meeting has to be eternal to be immortal. And so I promise to be a bit brief. But I'm honored to be here. I was actually going to talk to you a little bit about some courage tonight. I'm not sure I have to when a group of folks can stand up in East Lansing, Michigan, on the campus of Michigan State University and pass out blue and gold shirts. Now that is indeed courage. Let me just share a couple of thoughts. You know, I have handlers and I have speech writers, and everywhere I go I get a folder and they say go say this and go say this, and I don't have a folder. I don't have a speech. I'm here to learn. I'm here to absolutely absorb the magic that's happening in this part of the world, and to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, how excited I am by the journey that you are crafting for yourselves, and how eager I am to learn about where this journey takes you, because it will inform the entire movement on where we need to go. You see, times have changed, and there's external forces going on here, and I know that, and you know that, and Michigan is suffering. And this room is filled with Michiganders first, who are passionate about scouting. And how do we continue to deliver on the mission that we've committed ourselves to in the circumstances in which we find ourselves? You come from diverse communities, you come from 11 different councils, and you gather around a common notion that you understand the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. You get it. And you're trying to design that better mousetrap that in fact will allow you to continue to do what we all know is the main thing. And that's serve kids. Serve one at a time, as many as we can get our hands on. And the notion that it's really all about the lives we change in individual neighborhoods and communities in every part of this great country are made up of individual people. Individuals come together and form community. And what do? Our job is to take young people in those communities, wherever we find them, in whatever circumstances they happen to be, and do the best we can to equip them to be better citizens in that community. And think about it. If one of our scouts is prepared for life, by the way, a great theme, marketing theme, because of their connection with us, they're more likely to be a participating citizen in that community, to learn what it's like to help other people at all times, to truly be connected with the things that we know scouting can do for young people. And if we're committed to the notion that if it's good for my kid and good for my grandfather's grandson, then surely it's good for all kids. How do we do that? How do we extend this notion and our passion to serve the children of Michigan? Now, for the National Council of the Boy Scouts of America, the fact that you folks can come together and cause this to happen, first of all, is a cause for celebration for me. Because this is truly what it's all about. Empowered volunteers coming together to say, hey, let's figure this out. Let's check our egos at the door. Let's check our individual turf passions at the door, and let's gather around the notion that we have a mission to accomplish, and let's set about figuring out how to do that. You know, it really is about courage. A leap of faith, which is what normally we would ask you to do, the National Monolithic Organization would say, trust us. We're from the National Council. We're here to help you. Take this leap of faith with us, and we will lead you out of the darkness. I think we're smart enough now to understand that that's not how it needs to work. What we really need is the courage for you to embark on a journey, and together we'll get to where that good place is we all want to go. And it's really about courage. And up to this point, you've had a marvelous adventure and an exercise in philosophical notions about several models. But I can see the pucker factor as we're getting closer and closer and closer to that point where it's time to fish or cut bait. It's time to fish or cut bait. And at the end of the day, that's where the courage comes in. The courage to take that journey that you know is right for the children you're trying to serve. I'm so proud of the professional family in this room. God bless you guys. We're going to gather up a little later after this meeting and have a little family meeting, because I'd like to really hear from them, because they are putting their careers and their lives into this mix because they believe like you do. They believe like every person in this room. They've dedicated their lives, as each of you have, to the notion that we have a mission to fulfill. And that mission is to serve every kid we can get our hands on, irregardless of the circumstances and irregardless of the communities we serve. It's not enough to just reach those that we can reach easily. If it was easy, it wouldn't be any fun. And you folks have an opportunity to craft for us, for the entire movement, a notion that people of goodwill can come together and figure out, how are we going to accomplish this mission that we all believe in? And from the work that you're doing here will inform us, and there are many other places in this country who find themselves in these similar circumstances. As a matter of fact, I spent 10 of the greatest years of my life as a scout executive in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Greater Pittsburgh Council. I'm so proud of my connection. They have a real football team there, by the way. I'm so proud of my connection to there. But I was reminded today in a conversation after I landed in Detroit, my phone rang, and it was a great volunteer scouter, a dear friend of mine, who was council president with me for several years, was calling just to chat. And he said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm driving from Detroit to East Lansing to go to this meeting. Let me tell you, Mike, about what they've done in Michigan. These great people have come together, and they said, Bob, it's time for us to listen to that story. Because you see, in Allegheny County," and he reminded me of this, in Allegheny County, in southwestern Pennsylvania, it's not about scouting. They have 119 jurisdictions, municipalities, that have their own police department, that have their own fire department. As a matter of fact, I don't even think they've solved it yet. Before I left there 5 years ago, they still hadn't figured out how to have a countywide 911 service, because there was such a turf war over whose EMS team is going to respond to that call. You see, any strength, pride in your neighborhood is a strength. Carried to extreme becomes a weakness. But when people get past that weakness and come together and say, you know, there's got to be a better mousetrap, magic happens. And I have no idea the details of what you're doing, but the few hours I've spent with you today convinces me that magic is happening. You people have coalesced around the notion that there's a better way. And there's too much at stake not to figure this out. So we're watching you with the greatest of interest. We're behind you, we're with you, we support you. For those of you who don't believe that, trust me, I'm from the national office. But I can tell you, as the CEO of the Boy Scouts of America, there's no single greater, more important project going on in America today than this one right here in this room. Because if you can figure it out, and then we can export it, we'll all be better. And I salute you. God bless you and thank you.